So you've got this brilliant idea for a project, right? But you need the funds to actually make it happen. Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unpack a playbook for turning those amazing ideas into fully funded realities. Let's get into it.
I mean, this is the big question for so many of us, isn't it? Whether you're an educator, you run a nonprofit, or you're a community leader. You have the vision, you see the need, but getting the money can feel like hitting a brick wall. So, how do you actually bridge that gap? Okay, what if I told you there's a proven strategy that gets this kind of result? 95%. That's not a typo. That is the actual success rate of an expert with 25 years in the field who landed funding for 38 out of 40 grant applications. That's incredible. And that kind of success isn't magic. It comes from a clear, repeatable process. Today, we're unpacking that exact roadmap. First things first, let's be super clear on what we're talking about. A grant is not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. Think of it as a monetary award, a gift, really, to get your specific project off the ground. It's basically an investment from an organization that totally believes in your mission. Understanding that is step one. Now, let's break down the three-phase playbook to go out and get one. First up, phase one, the pre-writing game plan. This is where you lay all the groundwork. And let me tell you, the work you do before you write a single word of your proposal is often the most critical part of the entire process. Seriously. The source material we're drawing from uses this fantastic analogy. Grant writing is like baking a cake, and it's so true. You wouldn't just throw flour, eggs, and sugar in a bowl and hope for the best, would you? Of course not. You need a recipe, you need the right tools, and you have to follow the steps in the right order. Preparation is everything. And here's the first part of that recipe. Before you do anything else, get your approvals lined up. That means getting your administration on board and following your organization's protocol to the letter. And here's a key insider tip. Many school districts require school board approval for grants over $5,000. You want to get that sign-off early, and you also need to decide who's going to actually run the program once you get the money. Next, where do you even find the money? A huge piece of advice here is to start small. Tackling a $5,000 foundation grant is a great way to build experience and confidence before you go chasing that $1 million federal grant. You can check out clearinghouses like Grants for Teachers for K-12 stuff or grants.gov for those big federal ones. All right, let's move on to phase two, crafting the actual proposal. Your prep work is done, so now it's time to start writing. And remember, a winning application isn't about using fancy academic language. It's all about clear, structured storytelling. Now here is a fantastic pro tip. Do not reinvent the wheel. Most foundations list their past winners right on their website. Find a project that's kind of similar to yours, reach out, and just ask if they'd be willing to share their funded proposal. You would be surprised how many people are happy to help out, and it gives you a perfect template for success. You know, every great proposal follows this same logical flow. It breaks down into 7 key parts. You start with the introduction to your organization. Then you lay out the project description, what you're actually going to do. After that, you explain the needs, the problem you're solving, and then your unique solution. And finally, you get into the details, the project plan, your budget, and how you'll evaluate your success. Together, these 7 things tell a complete story they can't ignore. If there is one single thing you take away from all this, let it be this: use data. Statistics are what transform your story from, hey, we think there's a problem, to, look, we can prove there's a problem. Numbers give your story weight and make it undeniable. Your data is your most powerful tool, period. So, where do you find this amazing data? Well, here are some fantastic and totally free resources. You can explore sites like Kids Data and Kids Count for local, community-level information. You can find detailed poverty statistics or look at big national surveys like the SHPPS for health policies. These sites are absolute gold mines for building a rock-solid case for your project. All right, let's get to our final phase, avoiding those simple rookie mistakes that can get an otherwise great proposal tossed right in the no pile. This is all about polishing your application and paying attention to the details that funders really, really care about. Funders need to see that you've thought everything through. It's not just about the big idea, it's about the execution. Who exactly is going to implement this program? What's the timeline? Answering these kinds of questions clearly in your application shows the funder you have a concrete plan and you're ready to manage this project responsibly from day one. And we have to talk about the budget because this is where two very common and very avoidable errors happen. First, never ever ask for more than the maximum amount listed. If the cap is $5,000, asking for $5,001 is a fast track to rejection. Second, always remember to factor in shipping and sales tax because once a grant is funded, you can't go back and ask for more money. So, avoiding simple mistakes is obviously key. But to wrap this all up, you have to remember that getting a grant is about more than just a perfect proposal. It's also about your process and your persistence. So, let's talk about the winning mindset you absolutely need for the long haul. So, what does that look like? Well, keep building your skills. Go to workshops and webinars. A ton of them are free. Stay confident in your project's value. And, and this is a big one, if you get a no, don't get discouraged. Call the funder, ask for your scoring sheet, and get their feedback. Then you revise your proposal and reapply when the next cycle opens up. Persistence is the name of the game. Your amazing project is just one well-crafted proposal away from becoming a reality. So the only question left is this: what will you get funded?
The Peaceful Playgrounds Principles Toolkits, exclusive content created by Peaceful Playgrounds and Dr. Melinda Bossenmeyer. Visit peacefulplaygrounds.com and the grants sections to find grants to apply for and grants resources. We also have a Grant Writing for Beginners webinar.